Hi everyone. Hi everyone. My name is Rohan. Today we are going to discuss propane deasphalting. The purpose of this propane deasphalting is removing the asphaltic materials by solvent extraction. Basically, solvent extraction is to reduce the corrosion and to get the finished product by improving the product quality. Right, the final finished product should be the more what we call the more improved product, right? The the coke forming tendency of heavier distillation products are reduced by removal of asphaltic material by solvent extraction. Now the propane is the solvent, that's why we call as the propane deasphalting. If it is a butane or something else, then we call it as butane deasphalting. Now the this is propane deasphalting depends on solubility in of hydrocarbon in propane, right? The vacuum residue is fed in the uh, vacuum residue is fed in such a way that counterclockwise or counter current in the deasphalting tower. And uh, and the uh, leak and the vacuum residue is fed to the counter current deasphalting tower. The alkane dissolves in propane, whereas the asphaltic material and coke precursor do not precipitate in the propane, and these residue is further will process to the thermal process in such a way that we will get the final product or improved product. Now the solvent extraction is to prevent the corrosion and to prevent the poisoning catalyst, and to improve the final product, right? Now solvent treating is widely used method of refining lubricating oils as well as the host of the other refining stocks. Since the distillation separates the crude oil into various fractions by their boiling point ranges, by reducing the volatility or by reducing the volatility of that products, right? These may contain impurities such as the organic containing compounds, sulfur, nitrogen, oxygen, inorganic salts or suspended solids, or dissolved metals and soluble salts that were present in the crude feedstock. Now these can be reduced by removing the asphaltic material such as the aromatic compounds, naphthenes, and etc. uh, these may contain the wax also. So the solvent refining process, including solvent extraction and solvent dewaxing, usually remove these undesirable at intermediate refining. So there are the stages where intermediate refining stages will be there, so that the solvent refining process includes solvent extraction and solvent dewaxing. Solvent dewaxing is generally the wax is removed from the asphaltic material or the crude oil in such a way that we have to preheat that crude oil, and the wax is precipitate in the bottom of that fractionator, and we can remove that wax. Okay. The next is solvent extraction. This basically solvent extraction is can be uh, processed by two methods: by washing the liquid in such a way that the we will remove all the impurities by the solvent washing, and And another method is to dissolving the solvent in crude oil feedstock, and impurities get precipitate in that distillation column. The feedstock is washed with the liquid in which the substance to be removed, and we will get the desired resultant product. In another process, selected solvents are added to cause impurities to precipitate out of the product. In the adsorption process, highly porous solid material collect liquid molecules on their surfaces. Uh, Solvent is precipitated by product stream by heating, evaporation, fractionation. Now, these solvent uh, which we are used to the feedstock dissolve the feedstock in the solvent in such a way that these solvent can be removed in the final product by heating, evaporation, and fractionation, and residue trace amount of subsequently removed from the raffinate by stream. Now the solvent extraction, uh, further points we are going to discuss. Electric precipitation may be used for the separation of inorganic compounds. The solvent is regenerated for reuse in the process. The most widely used extraction solvents are furfural and salicylic acid. The selection of specific solvent can be depends on nature of the feed being treated and contaminants present, and the finished product requirements. Right. Now the solvent dewaxing. Solvent dewaxing is widely used in the industrial processes. Solvent dewaxing is to remove wax from the either distillate or residual base stock at any stage of the refining process. There are several processes in use for solvent dewaxing, but we have to some general steps, which are, first of all, the mixing the feedstock with the solvent. Solvent we will discuss further in the next slide, but for now, mixing the feedstock with the solvent and precipitate the wax from the mixture by chilling, and recovering the solvent from the wax and dewaxed oil for recycling by distillation and steam stripping. Recovering the solvent by from the wax, and these dewaxed oil, which is oil is not wax is not there, recycling back to the distillation uh, and steam stripping. Usually two steps are involved. Tolvin. Okay, solvent we use is, first one is the solvent which dissolves the oil and maintain fluidity at a low temperature. Right. The next is the MEK, which dissolve little wax at low temperature, act as a wax precipitating agent. Right. Now the next is the other solvent. Sometimes use these benzene and etc. Uh, there is catalytic process used as an alternate to solvent dewaxing. Right. Now this is the unit where electric dewaxing could be take place, and this is the process flow diagram. Right. Here the we can see. Okay, today in today's lecture, this is sufficient for the solvent dewaxing unit and solvent extraction. So further we will discuss the blending. Okay, right. Blending is, now the blending is the physical mixture of different liquid of hydrocarbon in such a way that they inject the different components of they inject the like different proportionate of components to enhance the turbulence and proper mixing. and blending can be to produce finished product with certain desired characteristic. Products can be blended in line through manifold system or batch blended in tanks or vessels. Blending can be take place in tanks or vessels in such a way that these can be done batch blending, and it can be inline through manifold system. Inline manifold system, distillate kerosene and jet fuel is accomplished by injecting proportionate amount of each component into mainstream where turbulence promote through mixing. Additives including octave enhancers, antioxidants and detergent, rust inhibitors, anti-knock agents and gums are added, and after during or after blending to provide specific properties, right? Blending to specific property non inherent in hydrocarbons. So so blending can be take place with different hydrocarbons in such a way that to get the finished product by these can be two types: inline and batch blended blending take place. And in for these are mixed in such a way that the injecting proportionate amount of each component into the mainstream where turbulence promote through mixing. For today's video, thank you for seeing, and please do see all the videos of mine which I have uploaded in my channel. Propane deasphalting, main components of distillation, column, and please do refer the playlist of petroleum refineries. Thank you.